noticing that on the sides of the trails, just try to pay attention to what the leaves look like. You'll see them. They're usually always about this far off the trail, and they're the same thing, you know. You can help trellis them, weed around them, and then add humanure. Now, this is an opportune time. I was going to do it in the orchard, but I guess this will be an opportune time to also talk about where you put the humanure. Yeah? A lot of people, they think, like, when they think of watering a plant, or they think of, like, adding compost or any kind of fertility to the plant, they always seem to add it right where the stem hits the ground. They think this is where it gets its nutrients. It's like as if the plant just stops there and nutrients all come to it from there. And that's not how it works. Maybe when the plant was this big, yeah, that's exactly where it was getting its nutrients from. But when a plant is this big, its feeder roots are not there anymore. Yeah? It now, right where that stem is, it's almost like it's just a big interstate highway. It's not where the shops are, it's not where the school is, it's not where people's houses are, it's not where the nutrients should be. So when you're thinking of like giving love to these perennial plants, you have to think of where is the most effective place to give the love? Where are the feeder roots of the plant? And it's not always that easy. If it's a bush like this, very often their leaves will even tell you, you know? Like if I look at this guy here and I see all these leaves, they catch the water and drop it. And so very often they're intelligent creatures in a sense, you know what I mean? In a non-human kind of intelligence, a post-human intelligence, a pre-human intelligence. So that's generally like it's gonna actually very often it'll have nutrients on its leaves that it feeds back to itself to divert to other places that need it more. So that's obviously gonna be one spot. Another rule of thumb generally that I've been using is half the height of the plant to the height of the plant. Wham. That would be it. Obviously, like if I'm looking at a plant this tall, and I think, okay, about this far to this far, that would be here to here. But I'm pretty sure that wherever you're standing, that's not where its roots are going to be. So it's usually going to be, because the plants are always on a path of some sort, it's usually going to be in a semicircle away from that path. So you're looking at this far from the plant, all back there. Yeah?
So how far? What was that measurement?
I would say about half the height to the height.
Half the height. Oh, so it could be as much as the actual height.
Yeah, it could be as far as the height. So it could be as far as here.
Gotcha.
Yeah? Again, this area might not be the place. It's probably more
Behind
in this zone here. And you'll notice that there's always all these bushes that are covering these plants as well. Hit them too. But plants can get shocked here. Yeah? It doesn't seem like it's that hot, so a lot of times we don't think the sun is very powerful here, but because we're on the equator, or almost on the equator, and because we're at a fairly high altitude, the UV rays are actually significantly more powerful. You can ask Ian, he's like Mr. Permanent Burn, right? Poor guy. Yeah, because he just gets out there and like takes off his shirt to show off his buff body and starts shitting, and all of a sudden he's fried, you know? And it's like aloe time again for Ian. And like I'm the same way, you know, I like walking around without a shirt on, but
show off your buff
I
bod.
gotta, well, not no buff body, but I like being as close to naked as I can be. But I gotta put on my long sleeves and my ugly hat after 10 o'clock and before 4 all the time, it seems. So like a lot of these plants, obviously like this guy here, you can see he's reaching for sunlight. So obviously here he's not been doing very well, or he'd be growing up here. But when you're cleaning out around them, I recommend 50% being your magic number. So like say for instance, if I was a plant that wanted to be opened up and I'm standing here, and you're like, well, I think, you know, you might want a little bit of light, I wouldn't cut this whole thing down. I would look at how many leaves are above it, and I would cut half that out of the way. And still leave half of the shade there, so the plant doesn't go from like being like, this is too, it would be like somebody being like, God, I could use some sun, and then you stick them on a raft in the middle of the ocean for 2 months. You know, they fry. And that'll happen to these guys too. They'll be like, I don't want to be stuck in darkness. But if you all of a sudden just whack everything up and get them exposed, it'll be too much of a shock, and they could die. So that's tree care in a nutshell, right? You're going to be weeding around where you think those feeder roots are. You're going to be adding humanure to that spot, about like a good inch at least of humanure to that spot. You'll be cleaning out about 50% of the cover, And then you've got all this organic matter from the weeding and from cutting out the cover. A lot of that, especially the more sticky stuff, the more carbon heavy stuff, you can just put back on top of the humanure to cover that soil up and protect it from the sun and from the rain and everything like that.
The humanure that we've used.
You got it, yeah, because you can all of a sudden see, like, once you've done the tree care, they'll have these little donuts of humanure around all the beautiful little babies. But those donuts are in danger from the hot sun burning it and from the heavy rain washing it away.
Sure.
So we like to keep it covered again. And so all that organic material you've just procured from cutting the canopy, you can put right back down. And you're going to start noticing, like, God, this guy's everywhere. And, Jesse, I just saw was just chopping the shit out of it. Like there was a weed. There are no weeds in organic matter. So you'll notice like in the orchard and a lot of other places, you don't see like the beans, you can probably cut little bits of it as well.
You said there's no weeds. What about the dirty motherfuckers? And then the pit of just dirty motherfuckers.
Yeah. He's worth it.
Why do they get their own pit?
Well, they get their own pit because wherever you pick that up, if you put that down on top of the humanure, not only it'll just take all the nutrients away from it. Yeah. Like, there's a difference I have, I guess. There are certain... there's a dirty motherfucker, which I don't know if you've been introduced to him yet, but I will introduce you to him. There's a plant called... There's grasses, which are not necessarily dirty motherfuckers, but they're still plants that we pull out. There's a plant called the star. Those guys, they have very short lives. They don't go back to the So they're like, if you're adding they're taking it. And they're over-competing. So we take those guys out. A bunch of them we just throw back in a chicken shop. Except for this one called the evil motherfucker. Because wherever I could take out the evil motherfucker, I could rip him into 4 pieces because I hate him, and I could throw him on the ground, and I have to plant it forward. Because wherever he touches the ground, he will grow roots.
How do you get rid of them?
There's a pit. We throw him in this pit, and then to show how much we love him, we dump our shitty toilet bucket water over top of it. But everybody else, the reason why I don't call this guy, I think this guy's roots are no longer This guy's roots go deep down. A lot of the native plants that you see here, the reason why they're able to grow here, like once I killed the yashipa, I guess I should give a history. This is yashipa.